प्रतिपाद्य जय जय स्वसंवेद्या आत्मरूपा.
Cities like Rome, Paris, New York, Washington, and London, and many nations, the powerful nations like America, Russia, China, UK, France, all these great nations, including our India too, and the neighboring countries, are completely locked down and experiencing a horrifying silence. This horrifying silence was never felt before or was expected at all. I, being a teacher, being a man of science, I thought that what is the secret behind? Who is the commander? Who gave this command? Who gave this signal? Who had a remote control? And the issue was, it was the COVID-19 or the coronavirus. Hundreds of thousands of people are dying. Lakhs of people are affected. And everyone, let me tell you honestly, every one of us, they have a horrifying fear complex, and possibly the fear of death. But I have been always thinking that whether such a horrifying situation would repeat again, how long it will continue. And this coronavirus, which has caused this horrifying situation world over, then we thought of the whole scenario.
You can see a very typical fearful silence on all the roads, the shops, the universities, colleges, malls, everything is closed. And the people have been locked down in their own houses for their own safety. It is but natural, but remember friends, that this has been caused at the command of what is called as a coronavirus. I do not know and understand that this coronavirus, when it gave a command, for the first time in the human history, all the churches, the temples, the mosques and the masjids like Makkah, Medina too, the gurudwaras and all other prayer halls and everything is completely closed. It has never happened before in the history, and normally, friends, remember, we have never been expecting that such an experience will be given to us in our lifetime.
And let me tell you friends, I am trying to show you the two small booklets in my hands. One is called as the Bell of Hiroshima, ringing once again, conveying the message of world peace is the name. This is the horrifying situation which was experienced at the Hiroshima by the first hydrogen bomb which was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You know how many lakhs of people and how many crores of people were affected. And this one hydrogen bomb initially caused this horrifying situation. It has been the most dreadful experience for the world community in Hiroshima. But that bell, I feel sincerely, in the form of this coronavirus, is giving a signal, giving a warning. And that bell on its own has started ringing once again, and possibly that is through this coronavirus of the COVID-19.
Biological and chemical weapons are quite well known, and the usage predates the wars. It actually starts in the human history when people used to use carcasses, animal carcasses, throw them around just to create biohazard. Now there are multiple kinds of biological and chemical weapons out there. The statistics are in front of you. Just for example, if you look at anthrax, which reaches at least 20 kilometers with a single spread, has ability to kill 95,000 people and impact or permanently disable 125,000 people in one go. So there is a massive issue of biological and chemical weapons globally. We could debate on where COVID stands, but at the end of the day, it's still a biohazard. So that's the why we are doing this. Also, there are about 16 countries who currently acknowledge that they own biological and chemical weapons. 11 have recorded the use of these weapons. There is multiple cases of security breach and negligence. Closer to home, Bhopal happened. Recently, Tuticorin happened. We all are very well acquainted of what biohazards are of chemicals. It's also been an accelerator for climate change, and accepted or unaccepted, many countries have used it until recently in 2018 in Syria where there were allegations made of chemical weapons being used. It has been actually an honor because currently for UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guetteras, disarmament is a core part of his agenda. Actually, when he took over the role, he made it as one of his primary focus goals to really create a secure future for all of us.
The conference on this eradication of biological and chemical weapons, this is the first step from our side to address the man-made disaster. I don't know whether it is actually man-made or not, but let us think for a minute about what is happening with us and how are we going to control this. And we will be talking about the past, present, and the future of biological and chemical weapons and the solutions, of course, towards this abolishment of this particular issue. The challenges at this particular time are really great and difficult. So when once we have the great challenges, we always feel that the opportunities are also great. The secret of change is to focus on our energy, not to simply fight on what happened earlier, but we need to build the new one. Both the 20th as well as 21st century have witnessed human progress by leaps and bounds. I always feel that it has come with a heavy cost. During the earlier century, more than 500 million people have died due to several infectious diseases. Several tens of thousands of these deaths were due to the deliberate release of different types of toxins, which we all have read in different textbooks, and as well as we have studied all these things. After the Second World War, the initiatives were taken by the United Nations to control and abolish biological and chemical weapons. This Biological Weapons Convention, popularly known as BWC, the first multilateral disarmament treaty banning the development, the production, the stockpiling of the entire category of these weapons. Of course, we are talking about the weapons of mass destruction. This was open for the signature in 1972, exactly on 10th of April 1972. Further, of course, the review happened in 1986. Further review happened in 1991. So on and so forth. The discussions are going on from last so many years as such.
Biological weapons or the conventions have been there. The chemical convention has been there. So many wonderful decisions were taken, but they are not being implemented at all. And who is the authority? Who is the controller? Who can really tell if there is some nation who is trying to do under the name of research or development of a biological weapon? Is there someone to control or guide or tell them that if you do this, the rest of the world community has to come together? But finally, by passing rules and regulations and the organizing possibly some such conference, whether this is going to help. How to really make the leaders, those so-called superpowers and the super leaders, and where are they now? What are they doing? Rather, these richest of the rich people of the world, who are so powerful nations, they have a lot to do with the poor people in the whole world. There are a number of countries who are waiting for some help. But instead of giving some help to those nations, trying to minimize the poverty and their hunger, that we have so many issues. The question is, passing some rules and regulations will it do? But I have a sincere feeling, friends, that somehow or the other, the whole world community has to come together. If there is some nation who is trying to play some horrifying game for proving their supremacy, for proving that they are the most powerful and most energetic, supreme nation of the whole world, that madness, I'm telling you a very typical word I say. India has been experiencing all these things, and they have said that the richest of the rich or the most powerful people got ruined themselves because of their wrong actions, wrong attitude, and trying to prove that they are the supreme. Possibly, I don't know, but in the future it will be very wrong, and possibly the human race has to really face a horrifying situation. Time has come when an institution like United Nations has to be the most powerful. They should be given the authority to control and to regulate and to take some action jointly. The rest of the people have to join together and take a united action, and the Security Council should be made aware of their responsibility, their accountability. Maybe they are given the authority, but they have to use it properly. And ultimate goal is the well-being of the entire mankind, the welfare of the mankind.
Clearly, the 21st century is the age of biology, and I believe both the greatest threat and the greatest opportunity for our species is in biology. And what we do in this field will really make the difference between a bountiful century and a destructive century. Organizations like the World Health Organization are vital UN organizations on chemical weapons. The organization, Nobel Prize winning Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, is vital. But these institutions have been weakened in the last few years. Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons has set up such a capability after the cases of chemical weapons use by the Assad regime in Syria. And actually, the Secretary General of the United Nations can launch an investigation into biological threats or biological incidents in the world, but has not exercised it in this case.
Sit and decide together by the United Nations Security Council, those members who are really very powerful, gifted. To my mind, they have a big duty to perform for the poor and the needy people of the world. And India has always been talking about the principle of the world as one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is the main message. So likewise, we have to look for the whole world and not separate individually. The coronavirus does not differentiate between a nation like India or America or China. They have a same common rule, and possibly this will certainly affect the whole cohesive system, the orderly system of the universe, and possibly create a horrifying situation for the entire world community. The most important thing is that I sincerely feel that the Security Council, which was established before 75 years now, the United Nations, and this Security Council, which has been meant for the protection of the life and property and the life of the people itself, for the world community as a whole, has a duty to perform. The World Health Organization has a duty to perform.
We have to ban and stop this mad race, the rat race going on for creating the horrifying weapons. Friends, you must be aware of that the world over, the weapons like hydrogen bombs, neutron bombs, they can destroy this Mother Earth thousands of times. Such a stockpile has been created by the world community. And we are sitting on a ticking bomb, really, the whole of human race. Now the question is, we are making it ourselves. It's a man-made danger which has been created. So accordingly, at least, whether we can think of stopping under the name of research, under the name of development, these biological and chemical weapons need to be curbed. We have to stop this and give a ban on at least even the research in the name of virus or the biological weapons. This is a question of sustainability of the human race itself, about Mother Nature itself. If it is a horrifying pollution like this or some virus like this can pollute and kill the human race and the living beings, what will be the future for the whole of the world is the main issue. I will say Mother India has a role to play, and we have to take an initiative and possibly using our own methods and techniques which are so close to the rule of Mother Nature. I think you are the people, you are the youngsters, your future. If we make some mistakes, you are going to suffer again, and it will be our responsibility that we are not at least cautioned you people. But let me tell you, friends, that it is a duty, it's high time.
On the background of the horrifying hydrogen bomb which was dropped on Hiroshima, which has caused the death of lakhs of people, maybe the crores of people were affected. And that bell of Hiroshima has started ringing once again. And this bell of Hiroshima is ringing once again to give the message of world peace and trying to give a warning, giving a clarion call to the entire world to think and understand the horrifying effects of what you are trying to produce.
We must ban, we must really eradicate such impending dangers by minimizing the biological weapons production, development, or research. Under the name of research, only this coronavirus has come. That is what is being said. So, who is going to find the solution? Ultimately, it is you and me. We are the people who have a concern with the well-being of the mankind, and hence an appeal to you, friends. Ban such weapons and ban some research is the main appeal. Let us not forget our duty to the well-being of the entire mankind. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much.
सर्वेऽपि सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः